In one of the biggest deals in Hollywood history, Disney has acquired a majority of 20th Century Fox, and the plethora of content that comes with it. While a majority of the focus has been placed on the X-Men joining the Disney-owned MCU, the umbrella of content far outreaches just the mutant heroes. With a Disney Plus streaming service, live-action remakes, and Disney parks, it won't be too long before we start seeing a wide collection of reboots from some of Fox's biggest properties. Dive in with us as we go through some of the biggest franchises Disney will reboot as soon as possible, and once again, we mean other than X-Men. The MCU is already filled with more than enough superheroes, but we always want what we can't have. And because of this, fans have been clamoring for Disney to earn the rights to the 20th Century Fox heroes for a long time. We're all rejoicing that not only will Deadpool survive the cut, but he won't be rebooted at all, so that's not a concern.
Aww.
And while the X-Men will eventually make their MCU debut, there's still a little unfinished business there as well. Dark Phoenix will premiere this year, and the New Mutants is still on the schedule at some point. While Disney cleans up that mess, there's one franchise primed and ready for a reboot: the Fantastic Four. With 3 Fantastic Four movies since 2005, Fox has not had a bona fide hit with the classic heroes. Disney, and specifically Marvel Studios, can inject a lot of life into the franchise, easily implementing a bit of the origin story into the MCU. And unlike the complicated world of mutants, adding the Fantastic Four to the cinematic universe will be a whole lot easier.
A new day is done!
Even more anticipated than heroes like Mr. Fantastic or The Thing is the villain Disney has acquired with them. Doctor Doom is not just one of the Fantastic Four's biggest foes, but he has gone toe-to-toe with many of Marvel's greats, and could prove to be a big bad in Phase 4 of the MCU. But Marvel heroes are not the only type that Disney has acquired in the deal. One of the more prominent names is Percy Jackson. 20th Century Fox owned the film rights to Percy Jackson and the Olympians, releasing movies in 2010 and 2013. The book franchise is still gigantic. There are plenty of stories to tell, and the built-in audience would make this ideal for an extended televised show. Disney is really ramping up production for the launch of Disney Plus, and if they want to compete with Netflix, then shows on properties like Percy Jackson will help boost viewer interest. Each book can act as a season of the show, diving deeper into the stories and characters than the movies ever did. The show would fit in great with other planned Disney Plus shows, like the upcoming Loki one or Star Wars Universe series The Mandalorian. And speaking of Disney Plus, the 20th Century Fox catalog of television programs could find a new home there as well. One show that could be spun off or completely redone is The X-Files. The series was already rebooted for the Fox network, but the Disney Plus format could turn the sci-fi series into a whole new format and design. We could follow new agents outside of Mulder and Scully and get an entire reboot of the series rather than a semi-sequel.
Has anybody offered up any evidence for how this could happen?
In recent years, another sci-fi gem at 20th Century Fox has had new life and praise: Planet of the Apes. After the success of the recent Apes films, there really isn't a calling on the big screen. But the adventures of the advanced ape civilization could work wonders in a limited television series. With the franchise still going strong, there's no reason for Disney to press the brakes on this one. And of course, you can't talk about science fiction and sci-fi without mentioning the worlds of Alien and Predator. Well, Disney has the opportunity to build on the MCU blueprint and try their hands at another Alien vs. Predator franchise. The first 2 movies were pretty poorly received, but the franchises themselves remain in high demand, and bringing the creatures back for a reboot and third battle might be the ideal way to go. While Disney is looking to expand the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the addition of the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, they already got themselves another connected universe with the purchase of 20th Century Fox. Yep, we're talking about the blood-sucking vampires who are part of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the expanded Buffyverse. The classic show has been screaming for a reboot in recent years, and there are multiple ways Disney could go about this. They could bring Sarah Michelle Gellar back into the fold or start completely fresh. An Angel reboot would also be ideal, but the Disney Plus platform gives us the options of seeing the long-awaited Buffy the Vampire Slayer animated series. But if you want to dive really deep into the 20th Century Fox bin, then Disney has some potential of making quick money with the Wrong Turn franchise. The original Wrong Turn movie was released in 2003, and starred Eliza Dushku as she encounters a group of cannibals in the woods. The success of the original has led to multiple sequels, and Disney can reboot the whole franchise to deliver on some great modern-day horror with a familiar title. Refreshing the franchise can bring some bigger names onto the cast and provide plenty of surprises for the slasher movies. But enough already about aliens and horror. It's time to focus on what Disney is known for. Family content. First and foremost, Disney loves to entertain people young and old with their great family content, and they have a lot of options to work with. While Ice Age may not get the reboot right away, we could see Alvin and the Chipmunks get introduced into the Disney family pretty quickly.
Sounds good.
Years back, the Disney Channel and Toon Disney used to air Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, so why not produce their own? The singing rodents are industry staples and have been around since the late 50s. Back in 1990, we even saw Alvin and the Chipmunks cross over with other Disney franchises in the drug abuse prevention cartoon entitled Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue. The cast of DuckTales and Winnie the Pooh shared scenes with Alvin and the Chipmunks, along with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Looney Tunes, and the Muppet Babies, among others. And you thought the Avengers was the greatest media crossover event in all of history. And speaking of the Muppets, Disney could take the same approach to the Chipmunks as they did with them.
Nah, that's impossible. We don't know this.
When Disney acquired the Muppets, they created multiple live-action films along with Disney Junior cartoon revival of the Muppet Babies. We can imagine an all-star chipmunk movie and an educational musical kids show sandwiched between Muppet Babies and the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. The Alvin and the Chipmunks' popularity never seems to die down, and Disney could take full advantage of it. And speaking of classic animated characters, you can't talk about the deal between 20th Century Fox and Disney without talking about The Simpsons.
Right, Grandpa?
I want bananas on my waffles.
Now in its 30th season and already renewed for a couple more, there's no end to The Simpsons in sight. So a reboot on TV is kind of out of the question. However, it's been over 10 years since the residents of Springfield were on the big screen for The Simpsons movie, so it might be time to bring the family back to theaters. To keep things refreshing, Disney could implement some of their top-notch animation skills and present a movie using full CGI, rather than the flat cell animation seen on the show. With a franchise as big and large as The Simpsons, the history runs deep, and Disney has a whole lot of options to play with. Just please don't follow your current tradition and make a live-action Simpsons. It just wouldn't feel right.
I can't believe you'd say something so selfish.
Creating a new Simpsons movie would harken back to more 1990s nostalgia for many fans, and nothing captured the holiday spirit of the 90s quite like the first two Home Alone movies. By the 2020 holiday season, we could easily see a fast-tracked Home Alone sequel. Instead of trying to modernize the movie like the most recent Home Alone sequels have tried and, failed to do, Disney's reboot has two different options. The first is to revisit the original cast from the first two movies. Just this Christmas, we saw Macaulay Culkin return to the role for a Google Home ad, and the actor has expressed some interest in starring in a new sequel. Disney could also reboot the movie by setting a new story in the 1990s again. Not only will the film have the nostalgia factor, but the plot will still work without having to deal with cell phones or other modern technology. Either way, the holidays don't go by without a huge focus on the first two Home Alone movies, and this is something Disney will not ignore for long. And speaking of Christmas movies, Disney also now has the rights to Die Hard. Even though Bruce Willis has allowed his action film franchise to die a slow and painful death with several forced sequels, Disney could find a whole lot of ways to bring the action series back to its roots.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
A new franchise star would be the key in rebooting Die Hard. A Bruce Willis cameo would be ideal, but John McClane needs to live on in a younger star who can carry the franchise. If Bruce Willis does remain the star, he could follow in the path of other reboots and find a home on the Disney Plus network. In recent years, movies like Lethal Weapon have transitioned into the world of television, and it would be kinda cool to see some Die Hard adventures in an episodic format. And we know what you're thinking. Disney is digging up way too many ghosts of movies past. But we have just one more for ya. This one is a literal ghost by the name of Casper. Another classic cartoon character is joining the Disney lineup, as Casper the Friendly Ghost has been the star of multiple animated series and a slew of live-action films in the 1990s and early 2000s.
You've heard of it.
Universal currently owns the rights to the character, but Disney has their hands on two of the live-action films produced by 20th Century Fox: Casper: A Spirited Beginning and Casper Meets Wendy. With these films, Disney may be able to make sequels, spin-offs, or obtain more of the rights from Universal. Not only could Casper make a fun addition to the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney World, but there is a ton of potential for the character in various Disney productions. The Disney Junior show Vampirina already features a ghost character, and a new Casper series could go well with it. A rebooted live-action movie could serve as a great origin story, and updated effects could truly make Casper shine on the big screen and feature a lot of great elements. No matter what path Disney decides to follow, it's inevitable that a lot of these reboots will be coming. Disney is already focused on the realm with live-action adaptations of films like Dumbo, and as long as they break the bank, Disney will not stop making these movies. The deal with 20th Century Fox gave them a lot of family films, along with a huge catalog of sci-fi movies and TV shows to branch off from. Featuring just the old shows on Disney Plus won't be enough. Rebooting them in all the new ways could make a huge difference for the franchises and for Disney.
We hope you'll join us again. After all, the more, the scarier.
Now let's hear your ideas. What do you think Disney should reboot first? Anything they should leave alone? Is now the perfect time for a Home Alone reboot or sequel? Leave us a comment and don't forget to subscribe to ScreenRant for more great content.